Hey, what's up, everybody? Soul Hero here, and today we're going to be talking some anime. We're not going to be talking Dragon Ball Z because I don't really have anything to say about Dragon Ball Z right now. It's covered by pretty much everyone else. Today I'm going to be talking about Berserk. Although, I will say I'd like to talk about some other things right now in the wrestling world. But I'll leave that till the weekend. But I'll give you a sneak peek. Well, that's enough of that. So let's get into this episode. So, I've been watching Berserk, like the 2016 remake. I finished off the original 1996 version of Berserk. Then I watched the three movies. And this show picks up after the three movies does. So you can watch the original series. It's pretty much the same thing word for word, minus just a little tweaking details. But those don't give the original character of Pit, which is the blue little fairy. And what they're doing right now is fixing that. So at the beginning of episode 1 of Berserk, we get the canon thing. Sorry, that was my dog. We get the canon thing. We get Berserk. We get Guts going into the bar, and they're throwing knives at Pit, or I can't remember if that's actually his name, but Pit is what I'm going to call him for now because I can't remember. I'm glad that they actually brought him in as a character because he's a good character. He's an advice for Guts, and they did everything right. But then all of a sudden they brought in this little kid who's also getting attacked at the bar that Guts saves, and he's not in the manga at all. So already within 5 minutes of the series starting, they're already filling it with filler already. With 30 years of material to use, they fill it with filler. And they jumped over particular parts of the series already, and it was a little disappointing. I'll get into it later when it comes to episode 2, but right now we're still on episode 1. So they jumped over a bigger part in episode 1, and they went right to the caravan. In episode 1, they missed the entire fight with the Cerberus head guy, but I guess you can go back and watch episode 1 of the original series or go watch the movie, and it's in there. But they jump over it entirely because it's already been covered, and I thought that was okay because we've already seen it. So then they jumped to the part with the family, like the grandfather and his granddaughter, in their caravan, and they give Guts and Pit a ride, and they get attacked by demons because the demons are following Guts, and that was pretty good. Everything they did up to that point, I won't say anything, but everything up to that point was good. And then when that fight was over, there was a group of people at a tree talking to each other about Guts, I think. And I every time filler shows up, I kind of try to avoid it unless it's necessary to watch it for the story, because within 5 minutes of those characters even showing up, a giant tree that again wasn't in the manga showed up and killed everybody. So already there's been too much filler in the first episode. I'd say about 10 minutes of a 22-minute video was filler. And I don't know why. There's a lot they could have covered in that entire sequence. Again, when they jump to episode 2, because I won't give anything away, but when they jump to episode 2, they jump to I'm not very far in the manga. I'll say that right now. In the manga, I'm at a part where they first meet Griffith as the demon, and they're now going through the Golden Egg arc, which is the how Guts became what he is now, the demon hunter. So that's where I am in the manga. So I'm not past that point, but I did meet Griffith when he is the Dark Wing. So when he has the Griffith outfit or the Griffith Knight armor, when it's in black and he's the demon, I did see that part. And Guts and that little girl and Pit are all been released now, so we get that story. But they jumped it. They didn't even talk about that part. We still haven't seen Griffith in this series, unless you count the opening segment, which is fucking creepy. And then, so then in this episode, we find out that there's this Holy Knight group. I don't know if they're canon or not. I'm not that far in the series. Again, I kind of gave up on reading it because it was online, and I found the book series at Chapters, so I wanted to read it. But that's $700 to get all the books, but I'm not doing that. I'm just going to continue reading online. But I've just decided to watch the anime as it is right now, and it jumps so much, and we learn that this Holy Knight group is led by this girl, and all these guys are little pussies because they've never fought in their lives, and Guts, being all bloodied and battered and broken as he is, he kills like half of them. And we learn that this girl is very into God, and she will do anything to God. And when she punishes Guts when he hates God for what he's done, because he believes in God, because he's seen God, because of the original movies and stuff. But it's not that important to think about. But he hates God, and this girl starts whipping him the fuck out. Like, honestly, there was so much blood. Not to be expected from Berserk or anything, but that was pretty much it. So much blood. He's his mechanical arm somewhere else, and his eyes shut. And it's just he's not actually giving a shit that this girl's just whipping the fuck out of him as he just stands there. And yeah, pretty much he just kind of like lets her do her thing, and then she cries a little bit, and then the guy finally comes in and tells her, "You gotta stop doing this. This guy's a prisoner, and he was supposed to not be harmed," and blah 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 blah. And so she lets go of him. And then no one sees Pit, the little blue fairy. I guess Guts is the only one that can see it because he knows what the world is really like. And in episode 3 they touch upon that a little bit more. But yeah, I've only been 3 episodes in because I recently only actually just started it, even though I like damned my friend for not watching it, so now he's watching it and he's ahead of me now. But and she starts whipping herself when Guts gets out of the little prison cell because of Pit. And then Guts like knocks her out and uses her as leverage to get away because he's so hurt. And he goes to find this demon, and that's where the episode cuts off. And that's episode 2. And then in episode 3, this guy is following Guts, and I think it's the brother to the girl that he just kidnapped. And the girl finally realizes that God isn't all that great because there's demons chasing them down, and she learns that whole thing, and then with Guts is that he's being chased by demons because of the brand that she saw herself in the previous episode. I'm not going to explain what's going on in this episode very much. Like, they're just there's like a bunch of dog hounds, and Guts is hunting down the demon. You got to expect that. This show is pretty much him hunting down demons, looking for a way to get to Griffith, and find Casa, whatever her name is, the little tomboy there that Guts fell in love with. But, yeah, that's how this is going so far. It's a lot of jumping, and if I'm right, it's a lot of filler, because I don't remember these nights at all, and it seems to be at that point where they're just jumping a whole hell of a lot to avoid the creepier shit, because they jumped over the boar thing, which is basically this king found his wife and a whole bunch of people having an orgy, pretty much. So he slaughtered every last one of them, and that was his sacrifice to the gods, and he became a demon himself, and his daughter was the only thing left. And episode 3 ends off with the king, that the Band of the Hawk... that's not a spoiler. The Band of the Hawk was loyal to the king, and he's dead now at the end of the episode, and his daughter's the only one left of the entire family, thanks to Griffith's actions in the first few movies, and things like that. But now that it's back to the show... That's how the episode ends. That's how far I am. So 1, 2, and 3. Episode 1 was a hell of a lot of filler. Episode 2 was a lot of backstory into a character that I've never fucking seen. And episode 3 was finally the fight I wanted to see. Like, it gave me a good fucking fight scene, and I'm not going to talk about it that much. So episode 1, I love Berserk, but for now with the story how it was, I have to give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Episode 2 being that it was more story-oriented and gave us a little bit more backstory behind Griffith and all of them, like the Band of the Hawk, telling us what happened to the Band of the Hawk if you didn't see the original series. I gave it a 7.2, and the last episode, with all the stuff that it finally felt like, episode 3 finally felt like it was Berserk. It finally felt like what I was expecting. A lot of fight, a lot of blood, and there was a particular part with this one character who got possessed and tried to do some shit with Guts. And this episode, it was the first 10 out of 10 the series is going to get. If you don't like the animation style, don't worry. It's not that bad of an animation style, but it's like the movies that they did, they wanted them to be a little bit more high quality, that it make it more realistic as possible for an anime. So if you look at Ruby, it's more realistic than Ruby, but it's still 3D in a sense where the shading is very nice. and it makes it look more badass when you watch Guts, even though Guts doesn't look very well. It doesn't look anywhere near he should. Like, the movies portrayed Guts a little bit better. The animation for the series is a little toned down, but it's still good. The animation isn't the best, but it's livable for now until they decide, hey, maybe we should go back to the old pen and paper thing as opposed to let's clay model everything. Well, there's not clay modeling, but it's like computer clay modeling. And it's okay, but I hope they change it back to normal because it's better if they had proper animation for an anime. So yeah, it seems like right now with all this material, they have 30 years of material to be working with, and they're already filling it full of filler, and it's okay. I get it, it's anime. They gotta drag out the episodes as long as they possibly can. It's just a little bit of a downer because it's doing also a lot of jumps, skipping over some of the more gruesome things, because that's what we came to expect. When this show was announced, we were expecting the most nasty, fucking vile shit ever. The first chapter in the manga had Guts fucking a demon, and it's gone. I know it's a very weird place to pick out, but it's like, this is the shit Guts has to go through to kill demons. He was fucking a demon to kill it, and they're skipping over all the funny shit from the manga. So yeah, right now Guts and Berserk isn't what I was expecting. It's hopefully going to pick up and actually be what I want. But right now, the whole series as a whole, from episode 1 to 3, I give it a 7.2 out of 10. And so this weekend, I'm a little busy. I'm going to be going to Suicide Squad, and I have my aunt over, so I won't be making a video for WWE. So basically, really quick, what I wanted to talk about was Eva Marie for WWE, how they're using her right now. It's going to be it's one of those comedic, funny stories. I feel like in the end of this story with Becky Lynch, Eva Marie might be the new champion for the Divas, or the women, whatever you call them now. So that's what I wanted to talk about with that really quick. So yeah, I'm Soul Hero. And that was my for episode 1, 2, and 3 review on Berserk 2016. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and leave a comment down below. And subscribe if you liked what you saw. Soul Hero is out. Okay, really quick. So then I looked it up online. Yes, everything in episode 2 and 3 is officially canon. I didn't know because I'm not there in the manga. So from now on, whenever I do this kind of stuff, I'm gonna have to take everything from the anime as current canon until I get to that point in the manga. So just bear with me and take everything with a little pinch of salt. I am very sorry that I said this kind of stuff throughout the video. Just when you get to this point in the video, I apologize. Yes, everything is canon, and it's actually better that we don't have as fucked up shit as I thought, just by looking up more research after the video was complete. So, yeah. Soul Hero is officially out this time. My apologies.